This is Fabio on Fire.
Fabio on Fire is an authentic Italian restaurant born in 2017. Our menu is very, very simple. It starts from a little bit appetizer, charcuterie, and then we have a few little pasta that we make in the house. And then we do a lot of special. And we also, of course, we do authentic pizzas and pasta. And then we have a few desserts that we make everything in the house. My oven is the soul of my restaurant. When you come into my restaurant and you see me cooking the pizzas, you have a feeling that something is about to happen, something is nice about to happen. And you know that it's me taking care of you. So my pizza is famous because, first of all, it's really light and not too hard on your stomach. We do use a 72-hour fermentation. All the ingredients are imported from Italy, the salami, the San Marzano. If there's one thing that we're well known for is our bread. So my grandfather gave me the recipe, and he also is the one that gave me the starter that I brought. It was a little bit of starter that I brought from Italy many years ago. Our tiramisu is probably our most, what we sell the most. Why the tiramisu is so popular in my restaurant is because it's made with real espresso coffee from Italy. People really were crazy for it. I put a lot of passion in what I do, and I drink them through. I'm ready to eat.
So, Andre, you've been to Italy 9, 10 times. How did you find Fabio on Fire?
When we heard they were opening up, we thought, all right, we'd give it a try. I cook a lot of Italian food, so I don't typically go out for Italian food, but I thought we'd give this a try. And sure enough, first time, home run. Yeah. It was like we were eating back in Italy.
What did you have for an appetizer and entree?
Well, for the appetizer, we started with the charcuterie board, the antipasto misto. And it's got a variety of meats, selection of cheeses, and they start off with a basket of bread, and they bake their bread right there in the oven that they make the pizzas in. And I like to rip apart the bread, and I take the cheese and the meat and the fig jam, and I stack it all up and eat. It's just, I mean, I could stay there all day eating that.
You just got me on that one.
Then for the main course, I ordered the orecchiette with Italian sausage and broccoli. It was terrific. You can tell that the pasta is handmade, because when it comes out of a box, every one of them's identical, whereas this, each one had its own distinct characteristic. And the sausage was spicy, but not overly spicy. Had really good flavor. The broccoli was fresh. And the broth, a lot of people think of eating Italian food as strictly red sauce, but this is more of a broth, olive oil base. My wife got the butternut squash fettuccine, which to most people is ravioli, but it's a different shape. It's like a little pillow with the ricotta cheese and the butternut squash in it. I mean, it was delicious.
And Marlena, you had the fettuccine as well, right?
I did. I was very excited because I had looked at the menu prior to going, and because I eat a vegetarian diet, I knew that I would be getting that butternut squash sacchettini. And it's really cool because, I mean, I thought with sacchettini, a sachet, like a little parcel, and that's what it was. The pasta was extremely light, but it had a little chewiness to it because it's homemade. And I'm a bit of a snob with herbs because I grew up with an herb garden. So having that sage in there and having something that, I think of pasta, I think it's gonna be kind of heavy. It wasn't. It was packed with flavor, but very light. I didn't leave feeling kind of bogged down with it. So I thought the flavors were incredible. We did start out, instead of with the charcuterie board, we had the cheese board. It had fruits and cheeses. We had different textures in the cheeses. There was a soft cheese with walnuts. I was really pleased with having a little bit of honey on the board and the fresh fruit to kind of cut through. So I think that balance was really smart.
All right, Michelle, what did you have to eat?
Well, for my appetizer, I had the meatballs.
Oh,
and yeah, they were very, very delicious. I didn't know if they were going to be spicy or not because I'm not really a fan of spicy food, but they weren't. They were delectable. I taste a bit of cheese in them, not chewy. I really enjoyed them.
And what did you have for your entrees?
Now for the entree, my son went with me and we had the margarita pizza. it is authentic Italian. The pizza was so good. I would say this was the best wood-fired pizza that I've ever experienced.
I would agree with that.
Boom, we heard it here.
I would agree.
That was
We're all
Yeah.
nodding.
well, they had a wood-fired stove right in the middle of it, so you saw your pizza going in and coming out. Great place. I really enjoyed the dining experience.
So, Michelle, what did you quaff, and did you have sweets?
Well, I had the tiramisu cake. Oh my goodness, I never had a better tasting cake. That's the best tiramisu I've ever had. It was light and fluffy.
It's incredible.
I actually thought that people just couldn't make it until I went to Fabio on Fire. And then I said, okay, well, there it is.
Yeah. Andre, what did you have for dessert?
We went with the gelato. We went with the coffee vanilla gelato. And it was a big dish, so my wife and I shared it. But it was the perfect way to end the meal. It was really creamy. It was very flavorful.
I had the gelato as well. I ended up splitting it, and I was glad I did because even the one scoop, it's so generous and it is very rich in the best way. But splitting this is, I recommend it. Splitting it, the flavor is incredible.
So, pro tips, your place.
For me, key ingredients is family-run restaurant. I don't like to wait, and I don't like to leave the restaurant hungry. And this filled all the bill.
Marlena.
I would say for my tip, if you are, as I am, of a bigger build, decide to sit indoors or bring one of the indoor seats outside, because I did find that the seats at the table on the patio, while it was beautiful, they were rather painful, a little too small. The sides of them were really what got me. So I think in the future, if I did want to sit outside, I'd probably just ask to bring some of the indoor chairs out. That's my biggest tip, because the food, anything you order there is going to be phenomenal.
And I agree with her. The food is phenomenal. But what impressed me so much was the decor of the restaurant. It was so intimate, a very nice, intimate, old world setting is what I felt.
If you want to try Fabio on Fire, they're located near 83rd Avenue and Lake Pleasant Parkway in Peoria. The average meal costs $37, and they do take reservations.